Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Captain Clyde's MTG, and we're done. For the most part, we had the final drop of Lord of the Rings cards leaked today, along with some Commander cards. We'll do a video on that tomorrow because they mixed the Commander cards in with other leaks, and it was very uncool. So we'll cover all Commander at one time and talk about that tomorrow. Let's finish off this set real quick, get it under the books. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Trying to get to 1,000 people. Don't cost you anything to sub up, and you'll always know when I post new videos every day. So, without further ado, here we go. It's going to be a long one. So, we're going to start off with, yes, some of the previews are god awful. Sorry. Greyhaven's Navigator, a blue and 2 for a 3/2 with flash. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1. Not bad for a common. Also, because there's so many, I'm only going to stop on those I think are going to have a serious impact on the format or are playable in formats other than limited. So, moving on. All right. Scroll of a Serial Dueler. Blue and 2. At 1, you get gain control of up to one target artifact for as long as you control the spell and the ring tempts you. Tap up to 2 target creatures, put stun counters on them. Draw a card for each tap creature that opponent controls. This is an amazing rare. If this is probably a sideboard card at best, going to be great in Commander because you get to draw tons of cards plus stun stuff. Like, yeah. Next, we have Sauron's Ransom, black, blue, and 1 instant. You choose an opponent, look at the top 4 cards of your library, separate them into a face down pile and a face up pile. Put one pile into your hand, the others in your graveyard, and the ring tempts you. So it's a better Fact or Fiction, except you don't show all the cards. So that's kind of cool, and it's 3 mana. So this is better than Fact or Fiction, guys. If you like Fact or Fiction, you gotta love this. All right, next we got Lash of the Balrog. 1 black sorcery is additional cost. Sack a creature, pay 4, destroy target creature. Basic common removal spell for a set. The Greyhavens, legendary land uncommon. Enters the battlefield, you scry 1. It taps for colorless or tap, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creature cards in your graveyard. So that's kind of cool. The Greyhavens is where they go to die, yada, yada, yada. This is an amazing ability for commander decks. And it may see a little bit of play inside of modern decks if you're playing a lot of legendaries, because they're probably going to get killed and they're going to be in a graveyard. And then you have a mana of any color. But this is definitely a commander card that's going to be in every deck. All right, next we have some kind of Kingfisher. Sorry. Blue and 2 flying. When the Athelian Kingfisher, I think, dies, draw a card. 2/1, Next, Fog of the Borrowdowls, black and 2 enchantment. You enchant a creature. Enchanted creature is a spirit and can't attack or block. So 3 mana pacifism is very bad. Shortcut to the mushrooms. So well, we've had a lot of those back in the day. Anyhow, green and 1 enchantment. The ring tempts you when it enters the battlefield. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Not the best, especially since it's green. Probably a lot better in Aristocrat's deck. But anyway, next we have the Mirkwood Spider, 1/1 for 1 death touching. Whenever it attacks, target legendary creature you control gains death touch. I mean, it's limited. Soldier of the Grey Host, white and 3 for a 2/2 flying. Flash. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 to end a turn. Next, we have Mithril Coat. 3 colorless rare flash, indestructible. When it enters the battlefield, attached to any legendary creature you control, equipped creature is indestructible. A good card from Commander, probably, but way too expensive for anything else. Bewitching Leechcraft, blue and 1 enchantment. You enchant a creature. When it enters the battlefield, you tap the creature has. If this creature would untap during your untap step, remove a +1/+1 counter from it instead. If you do, untap it. I mean, it's a basic lockdown spell, but if you have somebody making +1/+1 counters a lot, it can slow them down, I guess. Yeah, kind of. Denethor, Ruling Steward. So, this crazy man, who's obviously white. Anyway. Black, white, and 1 for a 2/4. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, create a 1/1 white soldier token. For 2, sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. So this is another great card for Aristocrats decks. It is 3 mana, but it is a 2/4, but it has the ability to sacrifice for mana. Um, and you can cycle, once a turn. If you can't get one of your creatures to get killed, you sack one and then make one and then sack one. And if you can't attack in, you could just attack in, make them block. I don't know. Maybe it's not as good as I think it is. I have to wait and see. It is legendary. One wouldn't hurt. So we have Gorbag of Menace Morgul. So black and 1 for a 2/2 ogre. Whenever a goblin or ogre you control deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do choose one, draw a card or create a treasure token. If this was red, it'd be really sweet for a goblin's deck, but being black, I'm not too sure. It's a cool ability if you got tokens floating around, but eh. Also, Elven Farsight. 1 green sorcery, scry 3, then reveal a top card of your library. If it's a creature card, draw a card. That's a green draw spell almost. Like 2/3 of a green draw spell. It's going to be really good and limited, and probably see some play in some formats. Just 1 green, Alright. Erebor Flamesmith, red and 1 for a 2/1. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Had him before. Soothing of Smeagol. Well, that's one thing I would never want to do. Anyway, blue and 1, instant, return target non-token creature to its owner's hand. The ring tempts you. Interesting, it says non-token creature. At least it doesn't say non-land, but it's not being able to target a token could be a downfall. All right, moving on. Next, we have Errant Rider of Gondor, white and 2 for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Then, if you don't control a legendary creature, put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. 3 mana, 3/2 draw seems good. Probably not in the older formats, but whatever. Quarrel's End, red and 2. As this will cost a spell, you discard. Draw 2 cards, create 1/1 human soldier creature. Very bad for 3 mana. It's on par with mana value, just not going to be good enough. Glorious Gale, blue and 1, counter target creature spell. If it was legendary, the ring tempts you. We have better cards than this, probably. Breaking of the Fellowship, red and 1, sorcery. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another creature that player controls. The ring tempts you. Alright, red fight spell. I haven't had one of those in a while. Not bad for a common. Alright, we have Mirmore Guardian, green and 2 for a 4/2. When it dies, the ring tempts you. A lot of tempting going on around here. Eagles of the North, white and 5 for a 3/3 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 gain first strike to end a turn. Plus it has plane cycling, probably one of the best commons. Next we have Chance Met Elves, green and 2 for a 3/2. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on Chance Met Elves. This ability triggers only once each turn. Limbus Bread, food, 2 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, you scry 1 and then draw a card. That's pretty good for 2 mana. Sacrifice it, gain 3 life as usual. When it's put into your graveyard from the battlefield, its owner shuffles it into their library. That's pretty sweet. There's potential here, but that's probably about it. Maybe a commander deck or so. Sam's Desperate Rescue, 1 black sorcery, return target creature card from your graveyard to the hand. Ring tempts you. We're getting a lot of reprints of cards that did these abilities before, except now the ring tempts you also. Faramir, Field Commander, white and 3 for a 3/3. Beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Faramir, Field Commander as your ring bearer, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Not terrible. Next we have Herodrum Spearmaster. Red and 2 for a 2/3 with reach. Begin combat on your turn. Another target creature you control gets +1/+0 to end a turn. This is just a worse version of the werewolf. Don't like it. He's got reach, I guess. Rangers of Fithillian, 2 blue and 2 for a 3/3 vigilance. When they enter the battlefield, gain control of up to 1 target creature with lesser power for as long as you control the Rangers. Then the ring tempts you. This is actually pretty good for a blue card, although 3/3 is pretty good. You're getting 3/3 for 4 and it has vigilance. The ability to snipe something that has lesser power might be relevant. Rally at the Hornburg. Dun, 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 dun. Red and 1, it looks like sorcery. Create 2 1/1 white soldier creature humans you control. Gain haste till end of turn. Not terrible. Isolation at Orthane. Blue and 3 instant. Put target creature card in the library second from top. Yeah, we've seen this before. Next we have Fall of Kar Ondaras, or Andras. Red 2. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage. Amass Orcs X, where X is the excess damage. Red 7. It deals 7 damage to any target. I just don't see this getting really any play other than Commander. Just, yeah, too much mana. Elrond, Master of Healing, blue, green, and 2 for a 4/4. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it becomes a target spell or ability and opponent controls, you may draw a card. Pretty good for a token deck. It's probably going to see a lot of Commander play. Next, we have Aragorn Company Leader, white, green, and 1 for a 3/3. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Aragorn Company Leader, put your choice of a counter from among First Strike, Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink on Aragorn. Whenever you put one or more counters on Aragorn, put one of each of those kinds of counters on up to one other target creature. Wow. This is really good for 3 mana. So if you don't know what's going on, if you have him and another legendary creature, the ring tempts you, so you give the ring to the creature other than Aragorn. He gets a counter of First Strike. He becomes Vigilance, Lifelink, Death Touch, or First Strike, and then also if that second creature you have gains that same counter. It can be a very slippery slope that gets out of hand quick, especially with Death Touch and First Strike. At least Trample's not in there. Anyway, moving on. Next we have the Balrog of Durin's Bane. Red, black, and 5, 7/5. Spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this turn. Haste. It can't be blocked except by legendary creatures, and when the Balrog dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. This is really good. This is something that might end up in Aristocrats deck, just because they sack 2-3 creatures a turn. They could easily make this just a black and a red 7/5 hasty boy that they could then sacrifice as well to do a damage and then kill a creature on the battlefield. Yeah, this is it's pretty good. So next we have Lost Isle Calling. Blue and 1 enchantment. Whenever you scry, you put a verse counter on Lost Isle Calling. For 2 blue and 4, you get to exile it. Draw a card for each verse counter on it. If you had 7 or more verse counters on it, take an extra turn after this one. Activate only as a sorcery. So this is only going to be good in Commander. It's just too much shenanigans to go through. You might see these in a couple French decks, maybe a combo deck, but that's a lot of work. Because scrying is not as easy as you think it is. Probably a big player in Commander. Next we have Flame of Anor. Flame of Anor. Bum, bum, bum. Red, blue, and 1 instant. Choose one. If you control a wizard, when you cast a spell, you may choose 2. Target player draws 2 cards, destroy target artifact, or it deals 5 damage to target creature. This is an amazing card for 3. Just the ability to pick whatever one you need makes this card amazing and playable. The fact that if you have a wizard by off chance makes it even better, because there's a lot of wizards floating around that are red, in kind of a red rush version of this deck, where you could draw 2 cards, deal 5 damage, get a creature out of the way, give your wizards prowess triggers. Like this could be a thing, and probably we'll see. This will get tried. I don't know if it's going to keep seeing plays. It might not be good enough, but this will be tried in Modern. All right, next we have Dawn of a New Age, a white and 1 mythic enchantment. When it enters the battlefield with a hope counter on it for each creature you control, at the beginning of your end step, remove a hope counter from Dawn of New Age. If you do draw a card, then if Dawn of New Age has no hope counters on it, sacrifice it. You gain 4 life. This is nuts. It's not legendary. You can play multiples. You put this in a humans deck when you're guaranteed to have 3 or 4 creatures all the time. You're drawing extra cards every turn. This card is for real, guys. This is going to make big waves in a lot of formats, Modern included. You splash this in an elf deck just for the giggles. There's just so much you can do. Like, I like this card a lot. It's going to see a lot of Commander play. It's going to be a pricey one. Next we have Gladriel of Lothlorien, a blue green and 1 for a 3/3. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gladriel, scry 3. Whenever you scry, you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land revealed this way, put it on the battlefield tapped. This fits right in with an elemental deck, honestly. It's the same color as this blue green. It's cheap. It's a 3/3. It does things, and Commander's gonna love this if you do the ring tempting thing. Um, or maybe there's just a ring tempting deck to make. This seems like one of the more powerful ring tempting cards. Next we have Smeagol, Helpful Guide. Green, black, and 1 for a 4/2. Beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, the ring will tempt you. Whenever the ring tempts you, target opponent reveals cards from the top. I'm sorry, their target opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. Put that card on the battlefield. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped under your control, and the rest in the graveyard. This is an insane mill engine. Wow. Um, because you're milling your opponent and taking their lands. Like, this is nuts. This is probably going to see play in at 4 too. It's got a pretty good power. I mean, a lot of commanders are going to use it for commander. Um, yeah, this is a pretty good one. Next we have Goldberry, River Daughter. Da, 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 da. White blue for a 1/3 nymph. That's a chunky nymph. Tap, move a counter of each kind, not on Goldberry. River Daughter from another target permanent you control to Goldberry. Okay. For a blue and tap, move one or more counters from Goldberry onto another target permanent you control. If you do, draw a card. Okay, so I'm sure there's some shenanigans here somewhere, but this is asking a lot to do a lot. But it's probably going to be able to do a little something in Commander, but that's really probably about it. I still take your Taco Bell. Elvish Mariner, blue and 2 for a 3/2. When it attacks, you scry 1, not terrible. Whenever you scry, tap up to X target non-land permanents, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. So I've noticed a very scry heavy theme where you can make a scry deck where it does a lot of stuff that revolves around scrying. Because it just says when this attacks you scry once, you get to tap a creature. But if you scry before that, you can tap creatures before he attacks. This is really cool. I like this new scry push they got going on. Next, we have the Ring Wraiths, 2 black and 4 for 5/5s. They enter the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -3/-3. If it's legendary, its controller loses 3 life. Then the ring tempts you. When the ring tempts you, you get to pick this thing back up from your graveyard, put it back in your hand. That's really cool, but for 6 mana, there's not going to be a whole lot of stuff going on like that, of you casting this multiple times probably. Now in Commander, oh yeah. Alright, next we have Assault on Osgiliath, I guess. 3 red and X. So you amass X. Then goblins and orcs you control gain double strike and haste till end of turn. So, I mean, it's going to be good in a goblin deck, but it relies on a lot of land. I'm not bought off this is going to be a good card just because it takes a lot of mana investment. I mean, double strike's cool and all, but if there's no trample or anything else like that, you just block and say have a nice day. Moving on. Eleanor Gardner, green and 3 for a 2/4, enters the battlefield, make a food. Beginning of your end step, if you sacrifice food this turn, you may search your library for a basic land card, put that card on the battlefield tap. This is nuts. If you're playing a food deck, this is amazing. You play this and just start sacking food for any reason. Bring creatures back from the graveyard, play creatures, gain life, and you just start rampant growthing left and right. I think this has a lot of potential, especially in Commander. Like, this may be broken in Commander by the fact you can just dig cards out constantly. I mean, yeah, they're basic lands, but I mean, if you've got, twice as many lands as your opponent, you're probably doing a lot better. Moving on. Next, we have Saradoc, Master of Buckland. Okay. White and 3, 2/4. Whenever him or another non-token creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white halfling creature token. Tap 2 other untapped halflings you control. He gets +2/+0 and gains lifelink to end of turn. I mean, it's fine, but nothing special. It doesn't gain first strike or anything. You can block it with something with 4 power, just kill it. Like, not feeling this one. But you can now make a halfling deck or a citizen deck or both with this as your commander. Ha ha ha. We can call it the Wee Folk. The Wee Folk with the big deck. Dun dun dun. Anyway, moving on. Next we have Sharkey, Tyrant of the Shire. Black, blue, and 2 for a 2/4. Activated abilities of lands your opponent's control can't be activated unless they're mana. He has all activated abilities of lands your opponent's control except mana. Mana of any type can be spent to activate Sharky's abilities. So this is kind of cool. This is going to be phenomenal in Commander. This says Commander all over it. I don't think in one-on-one constructed formats this is going to be good enough, but maybe a sideboard card. But in Commander, when you got three opponents and this guy's on the battlefield, you can do some bonkers things. Next we have Took Reaper, white and 1 for a 2/1. When the Reaper dies, the ring tempts you. It's tempting me right now. That's a pretty cute little girl. Next we have the Battle of Bywater, 2 white and 1 sorcery. Destroy all creatures power 3 or greater. Then create a food for each creature you control. Not bad. Might see play. It's very conditional, so like maybe Commander, maybe not, depending on the formats and how they're doing. So, Spiteful Banditry, 2 red and 1. When Spiteful Banditry, it's an enchantment that enters the battlefield. It deals X damage to each creature. Okay. Whenever one or more creatures your opponent controls dies, you create a treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. So this is pretty good. This is like a red meat hook massacre that gives you treasure once a turn. But it is a board wipe, so this is a good mythic. This is gonna see a lot of commander play. Yeah, this is almost as good as a blasphemous act. I just like the fact that it's X. I mean, you can wipe the whole board, get a treasure out of it, and then after that, it stays on the board. Every time a creature dies, every turn, you get a treasure. Like, it's just cool. I like it. Next, we have Shire Sheriff, white and 1 for a 2/2. Vigilance. When he enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a token. Notice it says token, any kind. When you do, exile target creature an opponent controls until the sheriff leaves the battlefield. It's not the best. Next, we have Horn of the Mark, 2 colorless legendary artifact. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom in random order. Probably a commander card. Next we have Andril, Flame of the West, 3 colorless legendary artifact equipment. You equip it for +3/+1. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, you make 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens with flying. White spirit creatures with flying. If that creature is legendary, instead create 2 of those tokens that are tapped and attacking. This is really good. This is a really good piece of equipment. It's probably going to see a one of in several decks. Next, we have Watcher in the Water. Boy, I remember this before they went into Moria, right? 2 blue and 3 for a 9/9. Wow. The Watcher in the Water enters the battlefield tapped with 9 stun counters on it. Okay, that's why it's so cheap. Whenever you draw a card during an opponent's turn, create a 1/1 blue tentacle. This went hentai so fast. Whenever a tentacle you control dies, oh my god. Untap up to 1 target Kraken and put a stun counter on it. Untap a Kraken and put a stun counter on up to 1 target non-land permanent. Oh boy. So, it's going to be really fun, Commander. This is not going to see any play in any other format. Oh my god. That was south so fast, I'm tired. Anyway, moving on. Surrounded by orcs. Blue and 3, amass orcs 3, not bad. Then target player mills X cards where X is the amassed army's power. I mean, you're milling 3, getting a 3/3, it's not bad. If the army's bigger than that, Battle Scarred Goblin, red and 1, 2/2. Whenever it becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to each creature blocking it. Basic common. Next we have Uruk-hai Berserker. Uruk-hai, sorry. Black and 2 for a 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. War Beast of Gorgoroth. Wow. Red and 4 for a 5/4. Whenever it or another creature you control with power 4 or greater dies, amass 2. Not terrible, I guess. Glorfindel, Dauntless Rescuer. A green and 2, 3/2. Whenever you scry, choose 1. And this creature gets +1/+1 at the end of turn. He must be blocked this turn if able, or can't be blocked by more than one creature each combat. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I still think it's going to do a whole lot. Next, we have the Dunedain Rangers. Green and 3 for a 4/4 with landfall. Not a bad rate. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you don't control a ring bearer, the ring tempts you. Okay, I mean, that's a thing, I guess. Next, we have Hurkenbrand, Lord of Westfold. So, a red and 3 for a 3/3. Legendary creature, human soldier. Okay. Whenever him or another non-human creature, but he's a human. Anyway, enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+0 to end of turn. This seems like a really bad Keldon Warlord. I hate to say that. Because he's human, he'll give everything +1/+1, but everything else can't be human. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, whatever. Moving on. I'm not going to get into it. We have the Elven Chorus. A green and 3 enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Woo boy. This seems really good. This is going to be a commander mainstay in most green decks. I probably won't see anything past that. 4 mana is really too much, and this doesn't do enough because not a lot of decks in modern other formats are that creature heavy. I mean, maybe you'll find it in elementals, so you can cast them off the top of your deck. I mean, that's a possibility, but don't think so. Next, we have Arwen, Undominable, or whatever. I'm tired. Green and blue, Elf Noble. Whenever you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. For a blue, green, and 4, scry 2, and it's a 2/2. So this would be really good in a blue-green elf deck, just because of the +1/+1 counter. It's an elf. If you get a lot of mana, which elf decks tend to need mana sinks, you can scry for your kill conditions, I guess. Doesn't tap for mana, though. Might be a drawback. All right, moving on. Next, we have Celeborn the Wise. A green and 3 for an elf noble. 3/3 for 4. Whenever you attack with one or more elves, scry 1. Oh, that goes great with the last card. Whenever you scry, he gets +1/+1 to the end of turn for each card you looked at while scrying. That's, yeah. I can see that. There is a scry deck out there somewhere. I swear there is. Horses of the Bruin. 2 blue and 3 sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards to the owner's hand. Scry 1, the ring tempts you. It costs too much. Doesn't do enough. Next we have Aeromir of the Rittermark. Red and 4 for a 5/4 haste. Whenever Aeromir of the Rittermark attacks, if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield, you make a 1/1 human soldier creature token. I mean, it's okay, I guess, but for 5 mana, it's really a lot. So, that's it, guys. We're wrapping up our Lord of the Rings with Aeromir. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's been a long one. Stay tuned tomorrow. We're going to go through the Commander stuff. Be another long video. Sorry about that. I like to keep them short, but they post so many at one time. They don't like drawing this stuff out. But anyway, until next time, be kind. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope to see you across from the game table. Maybe I'll even see you at Lord of the Rings pre-release because, hell, I don't know. Why not just go? I don't know. Diablo's out. I might still play Diablo.